Ohio understood the assignment.
Let's go.
In a victory for abortion rights, Ohio voters rejected to make it more difficult to amend the state constitution.
Let's talk about how important it was to Ohioans. They had an election August 2022, and the number of voters who turned out, 638,000 total. That's 8%. This time, more than that voted early. 700,000 plus voted early, and I believe in total 3 million people came out for an election in August where the state legislature was trying to say it would be necessary for 60% of the voters to approve an amendment to the state constitution, whereas right now it's only 50%. They know that there is an initiative coming up in November where they are going to enshrine reproductive rights in the Constitution. And the legislature there decided, well, let's see if we can make that more difficult for people. And Ohioans saw through it. I don't think voters like to know that they're being screwed with. That's what I think brought a lot of people out. They just feel like, hey, you guys on the left, on the right, wherever you are, you're there to represent our needs. You're not there to represent your power sources, your money sources, whoever's telling you what to do. And hey, if you fool me, if you pull the wool over my eyes, that's on me. But if I see it coming and I see this dirty trick and it's basically saying you Ohioan voters are not smart enough to catch this, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I know that most Ohioans, however they may feel about reproductive rights, they all feel unanimous that they do not want their state government screwing with them.
This ballot measure, as you pointed out, Gary, it brought people out to vote because, again, when abortion's on the ticket, people are coming out.
And now as I'm interviewing candidates, that's what they want to talk about. That's the first thing they want to talk about because they know that's going to bring out independence. That's going to bring out college educated women. That's going to bring out mothers and daughters who are going to go to the polls together, and it's going to be an event. It's going to be something that they take a picture of. They are going to swarm in 2024.
I will also say that there were other states who tried to do this. South Dakota, Missouri, it was a few others that tried the same 60% thing, and it failed too. And that's to your point, Gary, because if abortion is on the ballot, they will not win. And we have to keep talking about it. We have to talk about it and tell stories about the cruelty of it because they are just cruel. And we have to tell the story so that people can see it for exactly what it is.
Think about the ballot measures, the post-Roe ballot measures in Michigan, Kansas, Kentucky. Voters showed up to support abortion. It's very clear. Keep bringing it. We'll keep serving up voters. We'll keep showing up. And one other thing I just wanted to mention, I think we were talking about the early vote, and someone mentioned the early vote, and I love the way that that's being reframed now as voting on day one. Day one. It's not early, it's day one, because when we show up on day one, it clears the way for people to, for the people working on these campaigns to focus the money, the resources on things that matter. It gets the rest of us out of the way because we're going to vote. Let's just get it out of the way. We need to just keep repeating, vote on day one.
So we were talking about this and what it does to democracy. And that's really a scary thing. So it was a hit on democracy. But what I wonder is, do people really understand what democracy is? Like, what is democracy to the average everyday person? And what do they think about it being at stake? If people really understood democracy, what that is versus having a dictator or some strongman, will we even be fearful that he could become president again? And that's what I really wonder about. So I'll take this a step further. Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and the movie Barbie had massive crowds of people out. I mean, they're literally helping inflation because they are bringing so many people out and putting so much money into the economy. It's not a joke. And the question is, what if they were able to message to those people and say, I am sending up the bat signal for you guys that you're going to have to get out and vote? What would that mean for our democracy? If they can impact inflation, They ought to be able to impact democracy and getting people out to fight for their democracy.
Look, the opposing side is basically saying that that's what Barbie's doing, that they're railing on that movie. They're saying it's an agenda. They're influencing people, and it is. That movie is influencing people. It is saying, think of what that message to all of the young girls in this country, what that's saying. And then as they revisit it, as they get a little older and a little wiser and a little savvier, they start to see the messages that were in that movie. And they're like, oh. And that movie becomes sort of a part of the fabric of their thinking, not necessarily directly politically, but culturally, which then informs their political thinking. And I did not think I'd be the guy that'd be celebrating this Barbie movie as much as I have been, but I am thrilled by it. I sat in an audience, 90% women. They were cheering and hollering and clapping and laughing and just walking out of there. They were all dressed in pink and red. I almost wanted to stand up and say, thank you, ladies, for letting me be a part of this, because I feel included, even though I don't have a vagina. I don't have the lived experience that you have. And, deep down inside me, although I don't like to admit it, there are still some roots of misogyny that I don't recognize and don't see. And I'm working on pulling those out. And a movie like Barbie helps. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to You Can't Beat Blue on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And you can send your questions and comments to me directly at youcan'tbeatblue@gmail.com. I answer them all.